Hey, it's Matt. I'm going to share with you why you want to talk about your product or service and your opportunity less, or your network marketing business just won't grow. And a little bit later, I'm going to share with you something that took my prospecting from painfully slow one by one conversations to getting online daily passive leads where people purchase from me without even talking to me. So I'll get to that in just a little bit later. But first, what I want to do is tell you a story about the time when this man we used to call the bald-headed Englishman called me an absolute idiot for using the internet to build my network marketing business. So I was building a network marketing business. My buddy who lives near me, we're in the Los Angeles area, got me in. He was my upline. And the man that was the main trainer for the company was a bald guy from England. And so everybody called him affectionately the bald-headed Englishman. He came to Los Angeles to do a training. And so my buddy and I went. It was in one of the hotels near the LA airport. We were in this room in the hotel, and he was speaking, and my buddy and I were probably about, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 rows back in the crowd and right in the middle. So he was right there, right? And he got talking and he was training, and he started talking about all of his methods, the old school methods that he was teaching. Get the 100-person list, talk to your friends and family, do the 3-foot rule when you're running around town and things like that. He started to compare that to using the internet. And at one point, he looked out into the crowd and he looked directly at me and said something that just floored me. He said, anyone using the internet to build network marketing is an absolute idiot. And the reason he was looking at me is because at that time, I had put a video out and people were finding that video and were joining my downline without even talking to me. And I was building this big downline. I had people joining me all across the United States, Canada. I had people joining me from South Africa, from Estonia, over in Europe, from England, from Australia, right? Just internationally. And I was feeling really good about it. I was like, wow, I'm finally building a network marketing organization. It's working. And I'm actually having fun now because I'm bringing people in that knew a little bit about me, my story. And I was getting on conversations with people that were interested and wanting to talk to me. And I wasn't bugging my friends and family anymore. So I was feeling great. And he said, basically, you're an idiot for what you're doing publicly, right in front of this whole crowd. And I'm like, wow, I just felt deflated. I felt low, just the lowest point I could feel at that time. And my upline and I talked about it afterwards. And we both were like, hey, we're not going to worry about what he says. I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing. And I did, right? But my point here is that he, at that time, didn't get what the internet could do for all of us as network marketers. And it goes back to something I talked about in my video from yesterday. And if you haven't watched that yet, after you watch this video, you can go back to the timeline on my channel here and you can find the video before this one and you can watch that. But what I talked about there was understanding the one big problem that you're solving for your audience. That is key when you're using the internet and social media to build your network marketing business. That's what I had done. And I kind of did it unknowingly back then because I was newer to the online marketing space at that time. But what I had done very well was I had focused in on the one big problem that the product we were selling in the business solved for people. And I was speaking to that. And that's why people were resonating and joining without even talking to me. It's something that to this day, I've continued to use. For example, talking to you. I've identified that the one big problem I'm helping you solve as a network marketer right now is helping you become what I might call a master digital recruiter or digital marketer. And to maybe say it in more plain English, the one big problem I'm helping you solve is to stop going after people, chasing people, and instead understanding how you can use online marketing and social media to speak to the one big problem your audience has. So you're attracting people to you and they want to speak to you and it becomes more enjoyable to do that, right? So again, I talked about that on yesterday's video, but there are 4 big tips I want to give you in this video. And the first one is I just want to revisit that. The one big problem, you need to know what that is that you're solving for your folks. And it goes back to something I said at the top of this video, which is you need to talk about your product or service less if you really want to build your business on the internet. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're in a health and wellness company and you're selling a product that helps people lose weight. Well, what you don't want to do is go on your social media profiles and put pictures up of the product and kind of span that out almost like an infomercial. Hey, buy this product. It's great. What you want to do is get really focused in on your target market, the people that want to lose weight that you want to help with your product. what fears and anxieties and issues and challenges are they thinking about every morning when they wake up and every night when they go to bed around that issue? And if you can get keyed into that, then you can talk about what's going on inside them, because then they'll identify that you understand them. You'll give them tips and strategies for how to lose weight that aren't specifically about, hey, buy my product right now, but you're giving them helpful content first. That will attract them to you. Now they'll be open mentally to listen to your message about buying your specific product, whatever it is that you put up then at that point, okay? And if you're selling a service, some network marketers sell services, like if you're selling legal services or life insurance and things like that, it's a little bit more of a service-oriented situation, but it works the same. Tap into what are the fears, anxieties, and problems and challenges that your target market is thinking about, and then speak to them in that language, and they'll come and be attracted to you. So again, I talked more about that with some more examples on the video from yesterday, and you can go and take a look at that. But talk less about what you sell and more about the problem that you solve. That's key. Tip number 2 here I want to give you is, as you embrace the internet and social media to build your network marketing business, just be a human. Just learn marketing. You've got to learn specific marketing tips and strategies and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you got to be a human. And what I mean by that too is be yourself, right? I fell victim to this in my past. As I was learning more sales techniques and marketing techniques, I noticed that I would get lesser results as I started to become almost robotic in taking somebody's training on marketing or sales and say things and talk in ways that just weren't me, that just weren't Matt. And so what I learned how to do, and this might be a tip you can take from me right now, before I put out content, like a video like this, I always say to myself, just be you, talk the way Matt talks. Let the people that relate to that come to you, and the people that don't like how I talk or don't like my delivery or the tips that I give, they can go find somebody else. That's okay. And one thing that really helps me with that thinking process of how to be me authentically is, would my mom watch this video and not cringe? So think about it that way. Can you create content that your mom, the person who knows you the best, right? Or maybe it's your dad or your brother or sister. Just think of someone who really knows you well, or maybe your spouse. Could they watch this video and not cringe and not come back to you and say, that wasn't you on that video. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you saying the things that you're saying? It doesn't seem like you, because they know you better than anyone else. I think if you come to your content creation from that place, then that's how to be authentically you. You hear that phrase out there all the time, be authentically you in your marketing. I think that's a way to focus in on doing that well, is think about it that way. All right, tip number 3, perseverance. Look, there's going to be highs and lows in building your business. You've got to know that going in. So if you're new to network marketing, relatively new, just know that it's going to happen. If you've been around for a while, you've probably already experienced some highs and some lows, right? But you got to go in knowing that, and you've got to have that spirit of perseverance. There will be times when you'll learn a sales or a marketing technique from someone, and right out of the gate, it'll work like gangbusters. All of a sudden, you're starting to attract people, sales are coming in, everything's going great. And then there will be times where what you are doing with that will stop working or become less effective. That's happened to me many times over the years. And you want to come to those situations from a place of perseverance and evaluation, as opposed to judging what's happening. Because when you start to judge it, you start to say to yourself, I'm no good, this isn't working, I don't think I can build this business, what they're saying is inaccurate. All these weird things start going on inside your mind. But if you evaluate the situation and say, okay, it was working, why is it now not working as effectively? Well, maybe this changed in the marketplace. Maybe this competitor came in and I got to talk a little bit differently, or maybe address that competitor and things of that nature. And then you can get things to start working better. Sometimes you'll learn sales and marketing techniques, and from the beginning, it just flops. It doesn't work at all. I've done that a million times, okay? Where I'm like, I'm going to try this. It's going to work great. And nobody reacted to it. It just didn't fall well. So perseverance, go in with that attitude. Moses comes to my mind when you read about the story of Moses in the Bible. I mean, that man and that story is amazing if you want to learn perseverance. How many times he's talking to God and just saying, I don't think I'm the right guy for the job. I don't know why you picked me. I can't do this, but he kept persevering. He comes down off the mountain, and what are the people doing? They're worshiping a false god, and he was only up there for a matter of days, right? And the frustration that he had trying to lead his folks, that's perseverance. So if he can do that, I think you and I can overcome a few things like a sales or a marketing technique not working too well and figuring out how to make it better. So perseverance, tip number 3. All right, last tip, tip number 4. I've mentioned this kind of in passing throughout this whole video, but you've got to be committed to upleveling your skills. You've got to get better at leadership and marketing. Those are key if you want to use the internet specifically. And I'll never call you an idiot for using it because I love the internet marketing. Even though I was called that at one point by the old bald-headed Englishman there, I overcame that and persevered and continue to use it. I'm going to tell you flat out, use it. The internet is your friend if you up-level your leadership and your marketing skills, okay? So have an air of, I want to learn constantly. There are people that graduate high school or college and they stop learning. And I never understood that because I've always been a seeker of knowledge. I've always wanted to know more, show me more, tell me more. I want to improve. You've got to have that attitude. And if you don't decide right now that you're going to have that attitude going forward, I want to learn more consistently and constantly. Say that to yourself. When it comes to marketing, some of the things you are going to want to learn and become better at and continue to improve at are topics like marketing funnels, how to build landing pages, marketing conversions, some of the numbers behind the business. Here's a real quick story for you that I found interesting. About 18 months ago, I was talking to a very big leader in the network marketing space. I mean, he's got huge social media following and is very well respected out there. I respect the man, but he said something to me that had me questioning myself for a little bit. He was asking me, Matt, what do you really want to teach network marketers? What do you think your uniqueness is in the marketplace? And I told him, I love online marketing. I really want to teach folks how to move from some of that old school stuff over to using the internet and using social media well. And I started talking about marketing funnels and landing pages and things like that. And he stopped me and he said, Matt, you don't want to talk about those things with network marketers. And I said, why not? And he said, because they're thinking in terms of building a downline or, building a list and listening to that kind of stuff. They're just not going to resonate with what you're saying to me right now. And it floored me. Again, just like the bald-headed Englishman floored me a little bit there. And it had me doubting myself for a little bit of, wow, should I really be teaching these concepts? Am I speaking a foreign language in some way? And then I sat back and I thought about it and I thought, no, I come from a background, my early years, teenager into almost 30 years old, was a rock and roll, long-haired guitar player. What did I know about sales and marketing and network marketing? Nothing. I learned all these things. And when I finally learned how to use the online marketing and marry it to the network marketing, that's where I found success. So I said, no, I'm going to teach this stuff. And so don't let anyone tell you you can't merge the two, because you can. And don't let anyone tell you that you shouldn't. You should learn over time how to build an easy landing page so that you can take people from your social media platforms like TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, and the folks that aren't ready to buy right away, right from social, because some of them will actually once you do this right. But the ones that aren't ready, you can funnel them over onto your email list and communicate on the back end and continue to educate them about solving the problem that you and your product or service solve, right? So you just want to have that air of, I want to learn this stuff and I'm going to learn this stuff and I'm going to have the perseverance to do it until it starts to work for me. I mentioned at the very top of this video that I was going to share with you something that took me from painful one-by-one conversations trying to get folks into my organization to get leads for my business daily, passively off the internet, to where people were buying and joining without talking to me. It's right here. It's in this fourth tip. It's learning marketing. That's where things became almost effortless, where I started to see that happening on a daily basis based on work I had done previously. And that's really cool to get to that place. And I want to help you get there if you're not there at this point. And then leadership, I mean, I think it kind of says itself. You got to be a good leader in network marketing. I say this all the time. We can't lead others unless we first learn how to lead ourselves. So you need to get to the point where you can use the marketing stuff to get the result you're trying to teach your people to get, to start getting consistent sales and team members every week and get to double-digit recruiting every month. Do that first so that you can then lead others to help them do it. So that's a key thing. All right, so those are the 4 tips. Really understand what is the one big problem that you're solving for your audience and talk to that and speak to that to attract your best fit customers. Number 2, be a human, not a marketer. Number 3, perseverance. And number 4, uplevel your skills, meaning leadership and marketing skills. Now, to end, you might be saying to yourself, hey, Matt, this sounds great. Especially I want to learn those leadership and marketing skills, but I don't know the best place to go learn them. If you would like, I have access to an outstanding boot camp called the Digital Recruiting Boot Camp. I use this material to uplevel my marketing skills. And if you would like to learn how to use social media, specifically TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and all the other social media platforms that are out there to attract your best fit customer and team member and bring them onto your team, then in the comments below, put the word bootcamp, and I'll come back and make sure you get access to that bootcamp and learn these skills and uplevel those skills. To be upfront, I'm going to give you a link where you can go get the boot camp. You'll get on my email list. And if you love the boot camp and you want to get off the list once you get the 5 days of the boot camp training, then you can unsubscribe. If you love the boot camp and you want to stay in the list and continue to get ongoing information like this from me over time, then you can stay and you can continue until for as long as you like. So put boot camp in the comments for that. And then the last thing I want to say, if you're saying to yourself, hey, Matt, I love what you've been talking about so far in this video and getting myself to that online marketer status and doing this well, but I still need some more education around maybe the philosophy behind using the internet. I have a video I made a while back that I'll put near me somewhere here that you can click on and go watch. This video doesn't have a lot of tactical training, but it's got more of the philosophy behind using the internet specifically to sell network marketing products and services through your online marketing. So if you want to learn that a little bit more and get some more details, that would be your next step. I'll put the link right near me here. Click on it, go watch that video. I think that'll help a lot with your understanding if you're still looking for that at this point. Go forth, continue to uplevel your skills. You can do this. You can build your network marketing business on the internet.